My peoples, get ready for that smoke. We got lots to talk about, man. Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson. It looks like it may go down at 140. Curmel Moulton, Manny Pacquiao's son. They both gonna be fighting this month. And there's some other fights that we got to talk about. Usyk is going to be coming back as well, my people. Lots of boxing coming up. Lots to talk about in today's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Stay with me, y'all. The show kicks off in a few. Let's get it. Bam! My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we doing, man. We talking boxing. First, let me kick this thing off by saying it's a beautiful day. Doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's cold, if it's hot. If you woke up, if you breathing right now, it's an amazing day. Thank you, God, for giving us another one. Ooh, we talking boxing. But before we kick this thing off, let me say salute to those already tuning in. Size in the building, Toy Mafia, Troll Bruce. What's the deal, my peoples? Whoa. We're going to kick this thing off right away with the smoke. Ryan Garcia says, forget the catch weight. Let's do it for real. I want to take your belt and snatch it right off of you. Shakur responds, you speaking my language. 140 me versus Ryan next. Could it be that we get Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson at 140 for Shakur's title? It looks like it could happen. Now, I got to say this. At welterweight, Ryan Garcia showed up for the weigh-in half a pound below the limit. He showed up weighing 146.5. Can he make 140? He feels like he can. He actually posted about that being his plan to be able to go back down to 140 and accomplish over there as well. So I think the way this thing is developing on social media, it looks like we may actually get Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson next, and we might even get it in the 140 division. What do you guys think about that fight at 140? We already saw Ryan Garcia. We see what he brings to the table. He's now a legitimate world champion. And I think that's a good option for him because he could move down to 140. And if he loses to Shakur Stevenson, he keeps his welterweight title, which he'll be able to defend. So he can actually go fight Shakur next and then fight Devin Haney too, or fight somebody else in the welterweight division for his title. He'll still be a world champion if he goes to 140 to fight Shakur. But you see it developing. The way that Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson are going back and forth on social media. And by the way, they've been going back and forth before the fight. Before Ryan Garcia became a world champion, about 2-3 weeks before, he was already throwing shots in Shakur's direction. And Shakur going back at him. So we know that they fought one time in the amateurs. Shakur beat him. Ryan Garcia says he got robbed. What are we going to get next from both of these fighters? And I was talking about it. I said, look, I understand a lot of people prefer to see Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. I get that. Me personally, I prefer to see Shakur versus Ryan. Why? Because we got Ryan versus Devin. Of course, there's controversy behind that fight. Not just because of the way that it played out, but Ryan Garcia showing up 3 pounds overweight. Then he also tested positive. So there's controversy. But my point is, I've seen Devin and Ryan in the ring. I've seen them fight each other, regardless of the controversy. I haven't seen Shakur versus Ryan, so I would prefer to see that fight. If I could get this fight first, that would be even better for me, for my enjoyment. Side, what a joke. He can't even make the weight. According to Ryan Garcia, he can make it. Troll Bruce, I would not trust Ryan to make 140. Cass, salute Jay. Salute family. Bam, top of the morning. So I'm going to say this. It's fairly easy to have a contract where if you don't make 140, you're going to have to pay me, I don't know, this much money. We're not fighting. If you don't make weight, we're not fighting. And that's it. Simple as that. And you know, if it's a title fight and you don't make weight, you're not fighting for the title anymore. He's talking about snatching Shakur's title off of him. That's what he's talking about. So, obviously, for him to win that title off of Shakur, he would have to make weight. That's the only way. It's not even the title's not even up for grabs if you don't make weight. That's why when he beat Devin Haney, he didn't get the title. Yes, the decision was overturned and it's a no contest, but initially, right after the fight, he won. He was, arm raised, he's the winner, but he didn't get the title because he didn't make weight. If he's trying to take Shakur's title, obviously, he would have to make weight. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. The fact that he made 146.5 makes me feel like he can make weight. Like he can make weight and fight Shakur Stevenson at 140. Now, is he going to be dehydrated? I don't know. I don't know how is he going to look. But I can already see the controversy. If Shakur beats him at 140, Shakur got way too many haters. They're going to say, nah, he beat a dehydrated Ryan. But it looks like this fight can very well happen in the 140 division. And I'm all in. Wherever they do it, whether they do it at 144 or at 140, I'm all in on this fight, fellas. Simple as that. Now, let me segue into this one, man. This is why Teofimo Lopez is a goofball, man. Teofimo and his goofballery, it's like you want to feel bad for the guy sometimes because the shit he be going through, but he always saying some dumb shit, bro. Look at this. Somebody told him that he looked horrible against Shakur, and his response was, all designed, happy to make it look like I wanted it to look. Which basically opened up the door for people to start saying that this fight was scripted. You already see the conspiracy YouTube and boxing channels. All in on that conspiracy. They love it, right? So like, yeah, this could have been scripted. This could have been written so that Teofimo could let him win. Like, why would you get your ass whooped, be so humble that they beat the races out of you? I apologize for slavery. Looking dumb as hell. And now you're going to say some shit like that to allow the people to speculate that the outcome was scripted. Why would you even do that, man? You hurt the sport of boxing, Teofimo Lopez, when you make statements like that. Because there's already people who feel like all the fights are fake and all the fights are scripted. And you feed into that bullshit narrative, bro. Why would you even do that? You got your ass whooped. You took your ass whooping and handled it like a man right after the fight. This a bitch move right here from Teofimo. Come on, man. The lunatic librarian in the building. Salute, family. Bam. So, this right here, my people, that's my personal opinion. It's a real bitch move from Teofimo Lopez to say that, the fight, it was by design and that he made it look the way he needed it to look. What world champion needs it to look like they got their ass whooped? What world champion needs it to look like their father was drunk in the corner looking like a goofball? You really needed it to look like that? You a dummy for even saying that. A dummy. Charles Bruce, music to the gambling addict ears. Shit lame as hell. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. I wouldn't expect a boxer of Teofimo Lopez stature to be saying stupid shit like that. I expect that from the conspiracists. People who ain't even involved in boxing or people who just like to make shit up out of thin air. That's who I expect that from. But Teofimo himself, a world champion, you get your ass whooping. You say that's how you needed it to look. You made it look the way you needed it to look. So you needed to look like you got your ass whooped. It just looked that way. You didn't actually get your ass whooped. Come on, man. Come on, bro. The lunatic librarian tells saying the fight was staged and organized dance where he loses and gets cut. This ain't Rocky. And the funny thing is that this whole lead up to the fight, he was talking about what he was going to do to Shakur. After the fight, right after the fight, he's giving flowers. He's like, yo, he got it. He beat me, the better man won. Everything, he's handling it the way you expect a champion to handle it. Take your losses, just like you take your wins. But now he's handling it like a little bitch. Like you a goofball. I wouldn't expect that, man. I made it look how I needed it to look. Man, shut the hell up. They beat the shit out of you. Take your beating like a man. They done ran you out of the division. Now you're going to have to go to 147 because you know there's nothing you can do at 140. There's nothing you can do with Shakur. You know this. You got dominated so bad that there's no point in you even having the audacity to mention a rematch. Why would you? Like, there's no point. There's no point. You leaving the whole division. And you talking about that, you made it look how you wanted it to look or how you needed it to look. This is how it looked when you was in the ring with Shakur. You forgot? They beat the shit out of you. Completely dominated you. Made it look like right after this fight, you went to work your third shift at Wendy's, flipping burgers. Come on, man. Come on, my peoples. The lunatic librarian. Maybe they need to lower the age requirement for MIR scans in boxing to renew your license. Bro, listen. Listen, I don't know. Like, for Tio to say some of the stuff he say, maybe he should get checked out to see if he got CTI or some shit. Because, god damn, that shit is not even normal. You get your ass whooped, dominated, made to look easy, and you're talking about you made it look how you needed it to look? Damn, who the hell need to look like they getting their ass kicked? I don't think there's nobody out there who needs that. But that's what Teofimo Lopez got for us. Some straight up goofball shit. And comments like that, statements like that is the reason why people don't like Tio. Tio is not a villain because of his trash talking. Tio's a villain because he be saying some dumbass shit consistently. Like, you really are a cornball, B. You a cornball. I wish I could have Tio in front of me so I could tell him, bro, you a cornball. You just don't got nobody in your team that could look at you in the eyes and tell you corny as fuck. Like, that's some corny ass shit for you to say, yeah, you know, I made it look how I needed it to look. Like, anybody need to look like they getting their ass smoked. Cookie Monster. What's the highest weight class Shakur fight in by the end of his career? I think Shakur maybe goes up to 154. But I know that he'll end up at welterweight for sure. I know that he'll be a welterweight. But potentially towards the tail end, he might go to 154 or maybe a catch weight to fight somebody over there. Maybe Devin Haney's at 154, so they want to make that fight. They haven't made it yet, so they do like a catch weight. So I think 154 is probably like a big star, like a big name. You see how Crawford went up to 168 specifically for Canelo Alvarez. He wasn't just going to go up there for anybody. So I think Shakur caps off his career at 147, but does go to 154 for a big star. I see that happening. Charles Bruce, he already said 47 is wild. 47 will be his last weight class. I think he'll do, he'll stay at 147 when he goes there. But I do see the possibility, big star, a big name, a one-off. Let's go beat this guy 154. I see that as a possibility. Be right. Tio act as if he's a racist sometimes. He does, man. That's why. And here's the funny thing about it. People who've been around him have said that he's not a racist, that he'll say anything to get that attention. He'll say anything to get people talking about him or talking about his fight. And in reality, if you're not a racist, but you say racist shit to get attention, that just means you corny as fuck. You corny as fuck. You a cornball. Racist shit is nothing to joke about. Just so you could get attention. Just so you could... You corny as fuck. And then you make people believe that you're a racist, and then you want to cry when they call you a racist. Motherfucker, you made me believe it. You convinced me. Because I'm going to be honest, for a while, I was convinced that he a racist. I only started, giving them the benefit of the doubt because Terrence Crawford said he wasn't a racist, and a few other people that have interacted with him was like, nah, man, that nigga ain't no racist. He just be saying anything to get attention. But you a cornball then. You corny as fuck. Cookie Monster, Shakur versus Boost. I don't think we'll ever see that fight, bro. We'll Shakur's fighting at 135. Made one fight at 140. Boost is already at 154, and he's not going to stay at 154. Boost is going to go into the 160s. You can forget about that fight. I got a feeling you don't like Shakur, so you're already trying to find him somebody that you think is going to beat him. This is kind of like when people were saying, Crawford needs to fight Benavidez. I'm guessing that you probably wanted Crawford to fight Benavidez too and shit. The lunatic librarian. Shakur should fight Dalton Smith, Gary Antoine, and whoever gets the IBF after Hitchens pulled out against Duarte. So it looks like Hitchens is not going to lose his title. He's going to defend versus somebody else, which I don't think is fair. If he had to pull out of that fight versus Duarte due to an illness, which I believe is legit, I felt like they should have rescheduled that fight. Instead of the IBF coming in and saying, no, now we mandating you to fight somebody else. Like, damn, bro, you saw this dude, Oscar Duarte, was going to get a title shot. Why would you take that away from him? I don't think that's fair. Brascarell, greeting from the main streets of North Omaha, Nebraska. Salute, family. Bam, we woke up today. God gave us another one. Thank you, God. Say thank you to God every single day that he give us to just be breathing, to be alive, to enjoy life. Yes, sir. But again, my peoples, since you guys brought it up, let me address it. Hitchens and Hitchins, we already know was supposed to fight Oscar Duarte. They both made weight, and the day of the fight, hours before the fight, Hitchens had to pull out because he was sick. Now, I'll tell you what. I 100% understand a fighter pulling out of a fight because they're sick. I get that. And I would do it. I would advise them. If I'm the manager, you sick, nah, yo, pull out of this fight. You know why? Because when you fight, win, lose, or draw, nobody want to hear that you sick. Look at Teofimo Lopez. He was fucked up when he fought George Kambosos, got his ass whooped. And now what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared about his health. The only thing that people say, you got your ass whooped by Kambosos. Yeah, he lost to Kambosos. That's all they say. So if you sick and you feel like, yo, I can't perform at my best, pull out of that fight. And I don't have a problem with it. Because again, if you sick and you lose because you couldn't perform, nobody want to hear that shit. That's going to look like an excuse. Oh, yeah, I was sick. Nope, you got your ass beat. So pulling out in reality is the right thing to do if you actually are sick. And I believe that he was. But if you pull out of this fight, Oscar Duarte, you guys have to understand, this dude done had a whole training camp. He prepared for this fight. He made weight for this fight. He put everything that he had to. He put in the work to fight. So if you sick and you have to pull out, yo, my man's at least deserve to have that fight rescheduled. Give him his title shot. How the IBF come through, they know what just happened, and they said, well, Hitchens, now we want you to fight somebody else. We mandating this fight for you. Carl Lubrin. Garcia fight was good, man. Look, Ryan Garcia was the best version of himself versus Mario Barrios. The lunatic librarian, Hitchens saved his title by making both wins. The IBF should mandate this fight getting rescheduled. That's crazy work if they shut Duarte out. But that's the point. They did Duarte nasty. Because they know, okay, Richardson Hitchens made weight, right? But also, he was sick. He pulled out because he couldn't fight. Reschedule the fight, bro. Give Oscar Duarte an opportunity. He was going to get a title shot. And I understand if they announce this fight and Let's say a week later, they call it, they cancel it. But my man's done had a whole training camp. You know how much money you got to spend? Your team got to spend for you to complete a training camp? And you cut weight, all the effort that you got to make to cut that weight to make weight. And he made weight. He weighed 140 for the win. And then after all that effort, all that training camp, all the money spent, yeah, we're not fighting anymore. And we're not rescheduling. You're not getting a title shot. That is nasty work, my people. Nasty, nasty work. To then, for the IBF, to then say, well, Richardson Hitchens, we need you to fight bro right here. Lindolfo Delgado. Now, look at the resume. It's not like Lindolfo Delgado is a bum or nothing like that. 24-0 with 16 knockouts. And I checked the resume. He's beating some tough opponents, some experienced opponents who got a lot of fights in their resume. So I'm not telling you Delgado don't deserve a title shot. Okay? This guy right here, I could tell you based on his resume that he deserves a title shot, but not ahead of Oscar Duarte. Oscar Duarte done already completed his training camp and everything. So I feel like the IBF, they did him dirty. They did Oscar Duarte dirty, my peoples. He should have got that title shot. Especially taking into account that Hitchens pulled out the day of the fight. Damn, yo, y'all don't consider shit. Y'all just say, fuck it. Oscar Duarte can't get a fight. Lindolfo's going to be the one getting it. Nasty work, my peoples. Quick, salute, family. Bam. No, listen. You're not late. You here, my brother. This beautiful, is it Wednesday or Thursday? God damn, I got lost for a second. This beautiful Thursday morning, you here with us, my peoples. Boxing Fanatical, are you watching the Pro Box card tomorrow? I'm not sure. I may actually watch it. I may even call some of the fights. Cass, Oscar needs to take that shit to court or something. He's got a good case. So here's the problem with that. If he wasn't a mandatory opponent, he doesn't have a case. If he's a voluntary defense, if you're a voluntary defense, you don't got a case. See, if he would have been mandatory, Hitchens may have lost his... No, he wouldn't have lost his title because he made weight, but he would have to reschedule with his mandatory. He would have to reschedule. But Oscar Duarte not being the mandatory, I don't think he's going to have a case. I don't think there's really anything he could do about it. The Lunatic Librarian. Why wasn't Delgado ready as a backup fighter? Because he had not been mandated. The fight for... He didn't know he was getting a title shot. The Lunatic Librarian. What happened to the backup fighters in case of last minute happening where fighters can't make the opening bell? So, here's the deal. A backup fighter is really, really hard to get hours before the fight. It's close to impossible. Because you have to understand, it's not like you bring in 10 backup fighters to be right there just in case. A backup fighter, you got to call him. You got to ask him how much is he weighing? Can he be ready? And then wherever he's at, you have to fly him in. So imagine if they're in one state and there's somebody who can make the weight, but he's a 3-hour flight away and the fight is happening in 2 hours. You can't do it. So for you to have a fighter pull out a few hours away from the fight, it's close to impossible to get a backup fighter. If it would have been the day before, yes. If it would have been the day before, they'll call up a few people. Can you make the weight? Yes, I can make it. Okay, fly in. We're going to make it happen. But hours before the fight, you're almost guaranteed to not get a fight. Charles Bruce. Or if Africa can't make the weight healthy, no more than make Oscar Duarte versus Delgado. Fuck it. So it looks like when it comes to Africa, he just simply was sick. Like flu-like symptoms, a runny nose, a cough, shit like that. So it don't look like it was a problem making the weight. Cass, Oscar can't get any kind of compensation or anything. Damn, that is nasty work. Super nasty work. You completed a whole training camp. An entire training camp. Cut weight, made weight. And the day of the fight, yeah, it's not happening no more. Take your ass back home. Y'all wasted your training camp. Y'all wasted your money. Y'all wasted your time even coming over here. It don't get no more nasty than that, bro. Luis Pimentel, saludos, J-Fam. Salute, family. Bam, God bless. Great Thursday morning. Thank God for boxing for breakfast. Always feel at home. Let's get them likes up, my peoples. Let's get it, my peoples. Look, man, we not even close to 20 likes. Almost an hour of action. Let's get them likes, fellas. Hold on, we got a dummy in the building. Let's get him out of here quick. We don't need that time. We don't need that. We don't need dummies this early in the morning. Boxing Fanatical. Hitchens was sick for a few days, for sure. There's a showbiz video day before the fight where he says he saw Hitchens coughing. Yeah, he was dealing with something. There was already people talking about it. That him and even there was another fighter, which I don't even want to mention, but there was another fighter who supposedly had a runny nose and was showing flu-like symptoms too. The lunatic librarian, Jay Smith. I missed the cards where the promoters had same weight class, top 10 rank, just in case, so we can move them up in the card. I wish that Oscar Duarte could have got a fight. At least, you know. Let's make it worth your time. You did this whole training camp. You prepared. You make weight. You deserve to fight. You imagine how tough that's got to be for Oscar Duarte and his whole team? Like, yeah, fellas, we're not fighting. All that work that we put in, that's it, down the drain. This great shape that I got in, down the drain, I'm not fighting. That sucks, yo. Charles Bruce, they say he was vomiting, Jay Smith. I'm telling you, they was going through it. He pulled out, because there's people out there saying, nah, Hitchens was scared, and he got cold feet, and he just didn't want to fight Oscar Duarte. When have you seen a reigning world champion pull out of a fight within a few hours because he got cold feet? That's not real life. People like conspiracies. It makes it seem more interesting. It makes it seem like a movie. Oh, he got cold feet, so he decided, let's fake that we're sick so we could pull out. Nah, bro. Nah. That's not real life. Hakeem, Wilder going to Zuffa Boxing next. My prediction. I've been accurate. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he go to Zuffa Boxing. And I'm wondering what's going on with Usyk. By the way, Boxing Fanatical, yeah, Barrio sounded pretty sick day before the fight too. Supposedly he was going through it. Aroma Sound. And Broadway plays the actors have understudies in case the star is sick and the show has to go on. Backup fighters should be a normal thing. There are always fighters training on weight with no fight anyway. So what you're saying, that does happen in boxing, that they have options for backup. But you have to think about the logistics, right? If this fight is happening, let's say in Texas, right? And you have a guy in New York who can make 140 right now. But how many hours do you got to fly to Texas? Then you got another guy in Boston. He could make weight. But how many hours he got to fly to Texas? So you have to consider that too, because are we really going to spend, what, $100,000 to bring backup fighters just in case? Most fights happen. They don't get stopped. They don't pull the plug. So you will spend mad money to fly fighters in that ain't even going to fight. That's not feasible. Who's going to pay that money? Who's going to pay for that? Because it's real expensive. If you're going to fly in, let's say, 6 fighters or 10 to be backup, you can't fly them by themselves. A fighter's not gonna fly over there without the coach, without the team. So you gotta fly in 4 or 5 people, at least 4 or 5 people with the fighter. So for you to bring in 10 fighters, my G, you will have to bring like 40 people. You spending well over $100,000 for backup fighters that might not even climb the ring. That's not gonna happen. People are not gonna spend that much money for just in case. The letter M. What if Usyk signed with Zoo for boxing? You know, I saw a fake post that somebody put up saying that Usyk had already signed with Zoo for boxing. And I'm going to say this. About that. Usyk said that he's not rushing, but he got something big coming up. We don't know what Usyk got coming up. We don't know if he could be going to Zoo for boxing too. But that is a possibility. Don't get it twisted. Shaggy, happy Thursday. Salute, my brother. Bam. Quib. Oscar, what does the IBF have to do to fix the scenario schedule the fight or give him a different opponent? I mean, honestly, I feel like Oscar Duarte should have gotten a reschedule with Hitchens and Hitchins simply because how far along they were. Like, this fight was getting ready to happen. The fight should have been rescheduled. But for whatever reason, the IBF decided that Lindorio Delgado is the fighter who's getting that opportunity at Hitchens and Hitchins. They decided he's their guy. And I don't know why. I don't know why, the only way to describe this situation is that they did Oscar Duarte dirty. But let me just point this out. If Oscar Duarte was a voluntary defense and this guy was the mandatory, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the cookie crumbles. It went against his favor. Oscar Duarte. Pasa track, salute family, bam. Devin doesn't want no part of Ryan, huh? Sorry if guys already talked about this. Now, we haven't spoke about that. That's something to address. That's something that I'm addressing this morning, by the way. Boxing Fanatical, they should fly in backup fighters that they pay to have there in front rows anyways. It's like I told you, bro. How many backup fighters in their team can you fly in for just in case? Because that's the thing. The people you see in the front row is usually the biggest stars in the game. And they do that to promote the event, for promotional purposes. It's not the same as flying in a backup fighter who nobody knows. Like, imagine if they flew in Lindorio. Don't nobody know him. If they flew in certain people, they're not going to fill up the front rows with fighters that we don't even know. Because you're promoting the event. You're not going to promote it with people that you don't even know that's a fighter. But it's like I told you, Boxing Fanatical, you have to consider this. How much money is it going to be spent with flying in backup fighters, and who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? That's the magic question, because if me and you are fighting each other, we don't know who's going to pull out. We're both in good shape. I'm not paying no backup fighters out of my purse. Are you going to pay the backup fighters? So that's the problem. That's a big problem, bro. Who's going to pay them to just be here? Because they might not fight. They might not get in the ring. Now, I think one backup fighter is doable. Y'all fighting at 140? Bring in one backup fighter just in case somebody don't make weight, somebody gets sick, somebody pull out, one backup fighter. But then again, are you going to do a backup fighter for every single fight that's going to be staged on the card? Because then if you do that, once again, we're talking about bringing 6, 7 people, 7 fighters, and their team. Because think about it. What fighter's going to agree to, oh, I'm going to go over there, and if somebody pull out, I'm going to just fight with whoever they can link me up with. Just bring me one of the coaches here and bring me. That's not going to happen. Not at that level. At that level, if you bring in a fighter, you're going to have to bring in the coach, and you're going to have to bring in the team. A lot of money. Who's going to pay all that money? Aroma Sound, you're right about that. They barely want to pay the fighters that's fighting, much less a backup. Imagine paying backups to just be there. Because in most cases, the backup fighters are not going to fight. Guys, then you got to fly the backup and his entourage back home too. I'm telling you, it's a shitload of money. For you to bring in 10 backup fighters, you're going to be flying in 40 to 50 people. Flying them in, hotel accommodations, and flying them back. You're going to spend over $100,000 just in plane tickets and accommodations. And then nobody fights, you just throw that money in the garbage. So that's not even feasible. That'll never happen. Now, if a fighter pulls out the day before the fight, then you can scramble for backup fighters and be like, yo, I'm going to fly you in tomorrow so you could come in and fight the same day. Bacoli did that. Remember when Bacoli had to fly in and fight almost right away? I think he flew in the day before, if I'm not mistaken. The day before the fight. So yes, a backup fighter can be brought in, but they're going to be brought in after we know we need them. They're not going to be in for just in case. The letter M. And don't let it be a fighter with purse, because then it's even more dollars up, of course. If it's somebody that got even a little bit of a name, there's certain things that'll be more expensive. The lunatic librarian, Duarte pays the same sanctioning fees that Delgado does. He's not mandatory, bro. That's the thing. He's not mandatory. He wasn't mandatory. He was a voluntary defense. Who's Psycho? Young Smokey Robinson. Salute, family. Boxing fanatical. Completely understand. Just wish there was a better backup in place. I agree with you 100%. Oscar Duarte should have been able to get a fight. Somehow, some way. But it's like I told you, man. With Hitchens and Hitchins pulling out hours before the fight, it's almost impossible to get a backup. Unless you already had them there. But if you got somebody in New York, how they going to jump in a plane, fly to Texas, go straight to the venue, get ready, and go fight? That's not even doable. Just not even doable. Share Bear. Ralph Lauren has several men's t-shirts online. Okay, we got a dummy in the building. Let's get this dummy out of here ASAP. The lunatic librarian Hitchens was co-main event. Posse trap. Whoa, game messed up. Having to have backup fighters. I don't know if you ain't making weight. That should be on a dude, and he should get fined. No, but both guys made weight. Hitchens and Duarte both made weight. This was all about Hitchens being sick and not being able to fight. The lunatic librarian Dubois pulled out against Parker. Shakur versus Schofield was canceled. Well, but you see, Schofield pulled out of that fight because he was sick, and then he never expressed interest in making that fight. We never seen him. He didn't try to get that fight rescheduled. If anything, Schofield got out from under the bus. They knew Shakur was gonna beat him up. Beat him up. So they lucky. They ain't lucky for that one. Posse try, yeah. And a fighter should get a bonus if he ready on the fly like that, making weight and whatnot. Look, man, I think when this happens, somebody like Oscar Duarte should get something out of it. Should get something. Why? Because, bro, you know how much money they spend in training camp? 8, 10, 12 weeks, whatever it was. That's not cheap. You complete your whole training camp. You cut the weight. You make weight for the fight. And right before the fight, y'all can go home. Ain't no fighting. Ain't nothing going on. You can forget about this. That's brutal. Brutal. The lunatic librarian. That's right. Pally the electrician. You see? Well, I'm going to tell you the lunatic librarian. Pally not an electrician no more. That's it. He a full-time boxer. And by the way, he won his last fight. Devastating knockout. Devastating knockout. So, calling him an electrician, that's it. That's forget about that. He a fighter. Aroma Sound, yeah, he was a backup. But he was a backup that they were able to bring in. Was it how many days before the fight? 2 days before the fight, something like that. Not the day of the fight, obviously. So they scrambled, found somebody, and I'm gonna tell you, Josh Padley is like the dream. The dream. What makes him a dream? Trell, Padley was not a backup. Eddie just had a few days to find somebody. No, but he wasn't like saved as a backup, but he was a backup fighter because he was not the one scheduled, right? And Padley was like the dream. Like, they could make a movie about this guy. They could make a show about this guy. Why? Because Josh Padley is one of those fighters who proved that if you stay in shape, if you're always in shape, you could get a big opportunity that could change your life around. When he got that call, if he would have said, well, right now I'm weighing 145, they would have been like, nah, man, this nigga can't make weight. Forget it, son. All right, nice talking to you. Click. Conversation is over. But when they called Josh Padley, guess what? I think he was like 3 or 4 pounds right there, ready to make weight. Got the opportunity of a lifetime. Most of us never heard of Josh Padley and would still not have heard of Josh Padley. He would have still been a part-time electrician. But guess what? The guy stayed in shape, an undefeated boxer who's been winning, who's been doing what he's supposed to be doing, got an opportunity, and guess what? He got stopped by Shakur Stevenson, but he put up such a good fight that he got signed by Matchroom, already fought, got some European title, won by knockout, now got a good, lucrative deal with Matchroom, bought his own home, and that's it. He's a full-time boxer. That's it. He got it. Boxing Fanatical, I hope come in as a backup, set him up so he doesn't have to go back to electrical work. Aroma Sound. Yeah, late substitution is a better word than backup for Padley. Charles Bruce. Padley been putting hands on motherfuckers since the Shakur fight. Wey, basura! Espérate. Hold on, my peoples. Hold on, my peoples. I got shit going on over here. They came to pick up the garbage, and if I let them leave, I'm going to be cooked because I'm going to have mad garbage up in here. I got to make sure, hold on, my peoples. The Lunatic Librarian. Then he got the regional title after that knockout. I'm telling you, Josh Padley, he's accomplishing on his own side of things. And we're going to see Josh Padley work himself into another big title shot. Vamos, hey. Vamos, hey. Vamos, pa' allá. Pa' allá. I gotta get the dogs. Hold on, fellas. Hey. I gotta get the dogs in here because I don't want them biting nobody. Stay right there. Eso, buen día, mi hermano. Plus, try Jake taking the trash out. Yeah, man, gotta get it done. Plus, try. Yeah, I never like the excuses when a fighter says, I didn't know I was fighting this guy, whoever it may be, and they're in shape. I only think watching tape does so much. Look, watching tape only does so much. You know why? Because at the end of the day, you got to be ready to beat their ass. You got to be in shape to whoop their ass. So you can watch all the tape you want and still get your ass whooped. Still get beat up. Here we go, my people. Yo, chill out, fellas. Chill out. Y'all gonna come out in a minute. Chill out. That's Rambo and Thanos. Aroma sound Siberian Huskies are funny dogs. I had one that only behaved when pretty women were around. They're great dogs, man. I love those dogs. I got the father and son right here. Jimmy Chunger, you heard Mayweather's coming back from retirement? Yes, sir. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao going down later this year. For sure. Shakur hands in the building. Bam! Salute, my brother. Yes, sir. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao will be mixing it up. And I'm looking forward to that fight, by the way. Super looking forward to it. I know there's people who were saying, nah, they too old. We don't want to watch that fight and all that goofy shit. Those are going to be the first one tuning in. They're going to be the first ones watching. Pass the track. Gracias, mi hermano. Pass the track. They like the call, no? I know they make crazy sounds sometimes. So, that's a kind of a misconception about Huskies. And I'm going to tell you why. Huskies get used to the temperature where they're raised. So these Huskies were born and raised here in Dominican Republic. They never been in snow. They never seen snow. So they could handle the cold, but they don't need the cold because they've never been in it. So they adapt to the weather wherever they was born. Now, if I was to take them, let's say, to New York, they feel like home in the snow and they'll love it. But they don't need it. They don't need to be in the cold. Jimmy Chunger, Manny Pacquiao will beat Mayweather. Whoa! I want to tell you something. You ain't the only one to say that. There's a lot of people making that prediction. I haven't made a prediction on that fight because it is going to be a good one. It is going to be competitive. I know that nobody's getting washed. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, they're about the same age. It's going to be a good fight, for sure. B. Wayne, I wish I had a Husky. I got a Dalmatian. He's crazy. I think Dalmatians and Huskies have a similar personality. I think they do have a similar personality, the way they behave. That's it, my people. The garbage is out of here. Get that garbage out of here. Pass the track. I know they lay outside in a snowstorm like I lay on my couch. Yeah, they love the snow. Pass the track. I want to see my Mayweather versus Pacman. I'm telling you, there's people out there who's already hating on that fight. Maybe because they don't like Floyd. Maybe because they don't like Pacman. It's going to be a heck of a fight. My people, so what is next? What is really next for Usyk? I'm going to remind you that Usyk had a mandatory in Caballao. And he petitioned the WBC to not fight that mandatory because he wants to do a voluntary defense. You know what a voluntary defense is? That's when you get to pick your own opponent. When you get to say, I want this guy, and you fight that guy. That's what Usyk wants to do. He's saying he got something big coming up. You see, not rushing, but getting ready for something big. What is something big at this point? I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing it. Jimmy Chunger, AJ and Tyson Fury. I'm waiting for that. It could happen. We already know AJ is coming back. That can happen. Queen, Ilia Topuria versus Terrence Crawford in the boxing. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. This is a 100% boxing channel. You bringing up Topuria. Don't do that, bro. Come on, Queen. Come on, Queen. Don't do that, bro. We already know what happens to MMA guys when they try to go to boxing. They get their ass whooped. There's no point in even bringing that up, family. Jimmy Chunger. Usyk said he wanted Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder already got an opponent lined up. And by the way, Wilder said that they was talking to Usyk, but that he could see that Usyk was going to be like taking his time and trying to still figure things out. And Wilder was like, nah, yo, I'm 40 years old, 41, whatever, and I got to make shit happen. So that's why he went in a different direction. Charles Bruce, not going to lie, I don't like the idea of the Floyd-Manny fight. But I'm going to watch. We're gonna watch. Look, me myself, I could tell you, if it was up to me, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao would never have to step in the ring again. That's it. They put in enough work. They accomplished enough. They're both all-time greats, Hall of Famers. They've done stuff that nobody else will do. That's it. And they've made hundreds of millions of dollars. That's it. But I'ma support it. I would like them to stay retired, not take more punches to the head, not get themselves closer to having brain damage from all these fights. I don't want to see that happen to neither one of those guys. So I'm not thrilled, but of course, at the same time, I'm a fan of boxing. I'm a fan of great action. And I know that even though they're both washed up, they can step in there and perform at a high level versus each other. So I'll watch. I'm going to tune in like everybody else. B. Wayne, I hope it's not Jai versus Usyk. I want Suda or Benavidez versus Jai. I don't think so because Jai Opataya, in fact, Jai Opataya's next opponent was announced. People saying that's a cherry for him. I think that's a cherry for him. His next opponent on Zoom for Boxing was announced. So it's definitely not going to be Jai. For sure. Pasta track. I think AJ would be great for Usyk. But that's up to AJ. Maybe he doesn't want to put himself in that kind of situation, which I would understand. So we already seen Usyk beat AJ. I'm better off seeing AJ either versus Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, because those are fights that we wanted to see since they were all undefeated. Back when they were all undefeated, we was calling for those fights, and we didn't get them. They would have been a lot bigger back then. But I think AJ versus Fury or AJ versus Wilder, both of those are still big fights. Jimmy Chunger, Deontay Wilder right hand is finished. I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. He just got to land it, of course. You got to land, right? But the last thing to go on a fighter is that power. That power, that's why George Foreman became a heavyweight champion of the world at like, what, 46 years old, something like that? Because that power, that's the last thing to go, bro. Joe, people are really going to watch because they still want to see Floyd lose. That's the crazy part. I mean, a lot of people want to see Floyd lose, but a lot of people just want to see two all-time greats do it again. Want to see him do it again. Shakur hands, good call. Queen, I agree. I'm just having flashback of Mike Tyson's very old performance, and it's just as a fan of boxing. I don't like to see my favorite fighters go through it again. So I think one of the reasons why I could digest this fight, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, is because they're about the same age. Floyd 39, Manny 37. I mean, Floyd 49, Manny 47. They're both close to 50 years old. So I feel like, okay, they're on an even playing field. You know, I don't want to see Floyd Mayweather stepping in the ring with Jerome Bruce Ennis, with Devin Haney, with Teofimo. I don't want to see him step in the ring with Conor Ban. You know, I don't want to see him step in the ring with somebody that's just going to beat him up. Beat him up. Of course not. But if it's a fighter who's around his age, somebody that he already beat, I'm pretty sure Floyd feels comfortable that he's going to beat Manny Pacquiao. He's confident. Yeah, I got him. I already beat him. I know how to beat him. He feels that way. Pasta track, Deontay was never that great. To this day. To this day. But, I gotta say, Deontay Wilder did become heavyweight champion of the world, defended the title multiple times before losing it. And that's something that always has to be taken into consideration. He's in the history books as a heavyweight champion of the world. And I gotta tell you, the overwhelming majority of people who lace on a pair of gloves to fight professionally will never have a title, will never win a title. He got to the top. Shakur hands, exactly, brain damage central. I don't want to see fighters be brain damaged. And anytime that you step in the ring later in your career, after you had a long career, is more dangerous. It's a lot more dangerous. That's something to consider, my peoples. It's not the same. Taking punches to the head when you're in your 20s and your 30s is not the same as taking punches to the head when you're in your 40s and you're already 30, 40, 50, 60 fights deep into your career. It's a different ball game. Side, he has some bad losses that can show up later in life, of course. Of course. And it's not just bad losses. Because when you win fights, people forget about the punishment that you took in the process of winning that fight. And they don't realize that that punishment that you took, it adds up. You could win a fight and still took a nasty shot to the head that gave you a concussion. But we don't even consider that because you look good in the ring and you won the fight. We don't even know you walked out of there with a concussion. A guy like Floyd, for example, Floyd had 50-0. He could have had 2 or 3 concussions in his career. Nasty concussions, but you don't consider that because he won all his fights. You remember that shot that Maidana gave him? Floyd literally wobbled to his corner. Walked to his corner wobbling. That could have been a concussion right there. Or when Sugar Shane Mosley caught him with that big shot that made him, that wobbled him too. That could have been a concussion right there. So when you have concussions throughout your career, and then you go back into boxing in your 40s, it could be just one concussion more. Boom! And before you know it, you ain't even talking right. You out there sounding like James Toney. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous to get in the ring in your 40s, especially after you had a long career. Your body doesn't recover the same way. It's just different. Queen, if that's the case, then AJ should just take on Wilder. In my opinion, it's a better fight for him. AJ technique will overcome Wilder. I believe so too. I got AJ winning that fight. Pit. It's if Mayweather had legal problems with money. I mean, apparently Mayweather is dealing with some legal issues or some financial issues, but you never really know. There's so much stuff out there that's fake news that you don't really know. What we do know is that Floyd is wealthy. Floyd is wealthy. He got money. Now, does he have debt that is more than his wealth? We don't know that. Honestly, it is kind of suspicious that all these rumors about Floyd's finances come out, and now all of a sudden he's coming back to a professional fight. It makes it seem like there are some financial issues going on because, of course, Floyd Mayweather himself told us many times that he's never going to fight again, that he's done. He said it very confidently. I walked out of boxing with my faculties. I'm not going back. So he basically went back on his word. Now when he says, hey, I'm going to fight professionally again. What happened? What made him change his mind? So it looked like there could be some financial issues going on. Joe, Floyd didn't take much punishment throughout his career. His defense was second to none. Pac, on the other hand, took a lot of punishment. I can't see Pac getting up with Floyd at this age. Pacman definitely took a lot more damage than Floyd Mayweather. That's for sure. Like, we can't even compare. But 47-year-old Pacman and 49-year-old Floyd, 1 year away from 50, they're going to be pretty evenly matched. And I guarantee you, those two fighters, the harder puncher when they fight is going to be Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather's not stepping in there with nothing that's going to knock Pacquiao out. So when you look at Floyd Mayweather, you know, he's going to be in there to outbox him. He's going to be there to outpoint him. Manny Pacquiao is going to be in there feeling like, if I catch you with the right shot, I could stop you. I guarantee you he's going to be the harder puncher and the more aggressive fighter on that night. Pippin. It's a Mayweather hat. Oh, okay, I read that one already. Shakur hands. To this day, Calmer is a good talker and bad talker at the same time. Shakur hands. He has a difficult time pronouncing things. Shit, sometimes I have a... Yo, as I gotten older, I be mispronouncing shit all the time, bro. So I stay mispronouncing shit. Pass the track. Right, I worry about them fights when I was younger, and I've been slept once too. I'm telling you, man, when you get older and you already took some damage, you know, coming up, it's dangerous. It's a lot more dangerous. Troy Brooks, Deontay Wilder carried American heavyweight boxing for years. And for the hell, always have my respect. And for that, he'll always have my respect. Is that, here's the thing. We live in the social media era where anybody can say, yeah, he a bum. He ain't this. He ain't that. But it's like I told you guys before. Most people will never become champion of the world. Most people will never hold a major title in their whole career. So those who get up to the top, and then like Wilder, who defended, I can't remember how many times, you gotta give him his respect. You gotta give it to him, of course. Cass, people need to stop letting dislike dictate their feelings and just respect all these warriors that entertain us. I agree with you 100%. You see how much disrespect Wilder gets. A world champion. Come on now. And this is what happened with social media. People tend to focus on your losses and they forget about your accomplishments. So they'll only bring up Wilder to say the times that he lost. They'll only bring up Teofimo to say that he lost to Cambosis and he lost to Shakur, but they'll forget that he's been a lineal champion, a Ring Magazine champion, a unified champion, a multi-division champion. All of these accomplishments, it's like they erase it just to say that he lost to Cambosis and Shakur. Teofimo, one of the best fighters of this generation, without a shred of doubt. But social media keep wanting to focus on when you lost and not your accomplishments. Aroma Sound, you can tell some fighters had a concussion just by how they talk in the post-fight interview in the ring. Teofimo definitely had a concussion after that Shakur fight, the way he was talking. Look at Errol Spence after the fight with Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence must have had multiple concussions. With all those big boom, 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 all those big shots to the head, multiple concussions. Shakur hands, yes, definitely financial looking suspect. I mean, it's suspicious because if Floyd been telling us that he's not going to fight again, and now he is going to fight again, it makes you wonder. Queeb, a quick question: in heavyweight boxing still flooded with power-dominant fighters, with smart punchers being few, but the best. I mean, since you mentioned that, let me just point this out. Look at the options for Alexander Usyk, right there. Caballero and Fabio Wardley. Those are the two options that I'd like for him. Now, Caballero is mandatory, but he petitioned the WBC because he wants to do a voluntary defense. But how about if he's working on something big, Fabio Wardley? But Fabio Wardley is going to be fighting with Dubois. And I'm going to tell you right now, my peoples, Fabio Wardley is probably one of the most underrated heavyweights right now. Remember, I told you this. One of the most underrated heavyweights is Fabio Wardley. The notion that all he got is power, you can forget about that, my peoples. All he got is not power. This guy got skills. Got a nasty jab, nasty footwork. Give you angles, the combinations. You saw the way that he beat the crap out of Joe Joyce. Danny Guns, I think Hitchens was weight drained. He looked like a skeleton on the last face-off. I mean, whether or not he was weight drained, it's hard to, honestly, it's hard to say. But he definitely pulled out because he was dealing with a situation. You know, I don't know if it was just the flu or what was it, but he definitely wasn't in good shape, in good health. Pasta track. Deontay didn't wake up from that spinning walk punch till he got stateside. Coño loco, I can't even believe that shit. You remember? I don't know if you remember, but when they was in training camp to fight Big Bang Zhang, that goofball that he had training him had him practicing like a 360. When the hell you seen fighters practicing a 360, bro? Never seen some shit like that in my life. How you practicing? When you ever seen a fighter practicing this shit? Who does that shit? And before the fight, I posted a video like, yo, how the hell, why would you be practicing a 360? Lo and behold, he fighting Big Bang Zhang, does a 360, boom, and get knocked the fuck out. Knocked the fuck out doing that same bullshit ass 360. Wait. First of all, why would you even hire somebody that you knocked out to coach you? Why would you do that? That makes no sense to me at all. But they practiced the 360, and then Wilder got knocked out doing the 360. That shit was crazy. 12 Bruce, AJ ducked prime Deontay Wilder, and that's a fact. I'm going to be honest with you. It looked like AJ didn't want nothing to do with that fight. Because Wilder wanted to make it happen. Wilder wanted to fight him. And they just couldn't get it done. Now, if they fight, I'm giving AJ the edge to beat him. Pasta track, experimental coaching. I mean, bro, you need to try that experimental coaching in the gym, but don't take it like in the gym with little kids that's learning and shit. But a fighter who's at that level, at the highest level, you got him doing a 360. That shit is embarrassing. There should have been people in the gym who should have walked up to him like, bro, what the fuck y'all niggas is practicing? What you mean a 360? You ever seen anybody doing a 360 in boxing? What do you think we doing over here? That was crazy, bro. Never in my life have I seen something like this. And we might never see it again. A fighter practicing a 360? Coño loco. That shit had me mad. B. Wayne, why Malik Scott became his trainer? I have no idea. Like, you knocked him out and then you bring him on as your trainer. That don't make no sense. But I don't know if this is facts. You can't quote me, but it could be. Deontay Wilder, he not trying to pay trainers a shitload of money to come train him. He not trying to do that. Y'all remember at some point Floyd Mayweather offered himself. Like, yo, I'll train you to beat that dude. But you know, if you're going to have Floyd Mayweather training you, it's going to be a nice chunk of money that you're going to have to pay him. He wasn't having that. And any of the best trainers, if you want to bring them on, you're going to have to pay some serious money. He brought Malik Scott, who ain't never trained nobody. Yeah, come on, you could train me. I guess Malik Scott was going to train him for bullshit, for chump change. But Wilder, he's made the type of money where he can afford to say, yo, Mac, I want you to come through for this training camp. Yo, Bozy, I need you to help me for this camp. He could call some of the best coaches out there. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Shakur has Malik, it's a yes man. I mean, goddamn, though. He not just a yes man. He got you doing some goofball shit, bro. How you out there doing 360s? Nasty. Nasty work. Shakur hands. There's a lot of speculation because Wilder ain't take the brag. John Parham, I think it's a 50-50 fight. Shakur hand. Zhang put the beats on Calmer. Yo, Big Bang Zhang, ain't no joke. Shaggy, no one does that shit. Not even in other combat sports. Like if we're doing a combat sport, why would you turn your back on your opponent? What the hell you think is gonna happen when you come back to this side? You're gonna get knocked the fuck out, B. That's what, like why would you? The only way I see somebody turning their back, like Taekwondo, I'm gonna do a spinning kick. I'm gonna turn my back to kick the shit out of you. That's different. But I don't know, man. I hope we never see nobody doing a 360 again. John Parham, 360s belong in figure skating and basketball. There you have it. Perfect. 360s are perfect in skating and basketball. 360 windmill, boom. But then when you do that 360, nobody's waiting for you on the other side to knock you out. Posture track. The best trainers you have to listen to, but Wilder probably got a problem hearing. I remember seeing one time, I don't know if he's still doing that. I remember seeing one time that Wilder said he didn't run. He was like, nah, he don't run. He don't got to run. For what? He in great shape. He going to knock you out. No need to run. But how many times have we seen him running out of gas? After round number 7, round number 8, you see Wilder like this. And when he get tired, he open the eyes wide like I'm cooked. Cash, after the 360 debacle against Zhang, he should have fired Malik Scott on the spot. Yo, on the spot. Like he should have got up. Yo, you fired. You fired, motherfucker. Look what happened, right? First time I try a goofy-ass 360, I get knocked out. Should have fired him on the spot. Aroma Sound, is there a benefit to cutting weight to fight? I never understood why not just fight at your walk-around weight. That's a great question, and I'm going to tell you what the problem with that is, my brother. Nobody fights at their walk-around weight. So what happens is, if you actually fight at your walk-around weight, you're going to end up fighting somebody who's way bigger than you because that guy lowered himself to your walk-around weight. And you learned that as an amateur boxer. I remember as an amateur boxer, I used to walk around. My walk-around weight was like 125, right? Think about this. I'm walking around at 125. Bro, when I went to the gym that I was still weighing 125, I have not cut weight. The dudes that was weighing 125 look like welterweights, bro. They look like 150 pounders. So I'm like, God damn, how much this motherfucker weigh? Yeah, 125. It'd be a dude that's way bigger with jack, way stronger than me. And he weighed 125 too. So now I asked my coach, where am I going to fight? Oh, you fighting at 112. God damn, I'm going to have to starve to go to 112. But when I got to 112, I was fighting dudes that was around my same size. So that's why you can't fight at your walk-around weight because nobody fight at their walk-around weight. So if you try that, you're going to end up fighting guys that are way bigger than you who shrunk themselves to your weight. Now, if they have a rule in boxing where everybody just fight at their walk-around weight, then it will be more fair. But you can't really do that. So ultimately, is how far down can you shrink yourself to? How far can you go? And that's where you're going to fight. If you walk around at 150, they're going to try to bring you to 120, 118, 116. That's just the way that it goes. There's a lot of fighters that you might see them fighting at 135 today, and they walk around weight be like 160. So imagine, if your walk around weight is 135 and you fight a guy who's walking around 160, you're going to get pummeled out there. Absolutely. It's going to be a pummeling session. Charles Bruce, playing on people's name is lame. Skip Bayless behavior. Calmer. Come on, bro. Yeah, Skip Bayless is a goofball. And you know what? I see that a lot. People, calling fighters names. You guys know I don't do that. We can have a moment where we're doing the trash talking and we having a good time. But calling fighters name, to me, that shit is goofy as hell. Pasta trap. I used to pull the spinning 360 punch on my brother before he hit puberty. But I did not land it all the time. Oh no, a lot of us did that all the time. And I did it in slap boxing. So I would go, bang, slap the shit out of you. But in real boxing, you want to be spinning, you're going to get cooked out there. Jason has 26 likes. God damn, my peoples, an hour and a half. We ain't even get to 30 likes yet. Do we have that ghost watching going on or the sneak hate? Slide counter. Remember when Arturo Gatti would put certain opponents in the hospital after rehydrating up to 20 pounds on a fight? Man, listen, I remember one specific fight where Arturo Gatti rehydrated like 25 pounds. And him and his opponent, they didn't even look like two people from the same weight class was fighting each other. They didn't even look like it. It looked like it was a welterweight versus a middleweight. And Arturo Gatti sent that guy. Brutal knockout, sent him to the hospital. Somebody asking for a mentor, you need to get out of here because you're a dummy. That has nothing to do with boxing. And we don't got time for dummies like you. Go to a dummy channel. Dummy. Shakur hands shows the difference in how he used to be and how he turned after that Hawashka. Cash. A fighter should walk around at what's called their optimal weight. Then they make way through normal training camp activities. Joey Gamache, that's the guy that Arturo Gatti beat him up badly. So here's the deal, Cass. That's why you don't see me using the term weight bully. I don't really use that, and I noticed that term is mostly used by haters when they want to hate on somebody. I don't use the term weight bully, and I'm going to tell you why I don't use that term. Just like you could bring yourself down a bunch of weight to fight smaller guys, that shit can backfire and you could get your ass whooped because you showed up to the fight weak. You showed up to the fight a skeleton of yourself. So when you say, oh, he being a weight bully, you could say that if you want, but that just means you don't know what it takes to cut that weight. Let me give you an example of something that you may not consider when you say, he a weight bully. Watch this. Let's say two fighters are fighting at 140. They're fighting at 140, right? Now, one of those two fighters, his walk-around weight is 150. He's staying at 150. In that training camp, he's only going to drop 10 pounds. The other fighter, walk-around weight, 170. Jack, big. So you're like, oh, nah, this guy's a weight bully. He's going to fight at 140. He a weight bully. But here's what you're not taking into consideration. The guy who's only 10 pounds over, in that training camp, he's going to spend a lot of time working on his craft, working on the technique, working on the mechanics, working on the game plan. This guy that's weighing 170, he gonna spend half of that camp just trying to drop that weight. So while this guy's getting in the sauna, running, starving himself, this one is in the lab. Bang, 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 working on what he's supposed to be doing. So the more weight you got on you, the more time you gotta spend trying to cut that. While I'm just focusing on what I'm supposed to do inside the ring. And that's going to give me an advantage. So while people say he's a weight bully, they not understanding this guy's starving himself to make that weight. This guy, when he gets to the fight, he might not be at 100%. He might get knocked the F out because of it. So the weight bully thing, people only use it when they like it. People only use it. If they don't like this guy, he's a weight bully. But when they like that guy, they don't got nothing to say. So the weight bully stuff, in reality, it can backfire brutally. You could be a real good fighter and get beat by a lesser opponent because you showed up to the fight weak as hell. I even told people, look, before Tank Davis announced that he was going to 140, I told people Tank is not going to be able to keep making 135. I'm like, there's no way. Why? Because the first time Tank fought at 135, he was 25 years old. I want you to think about that. Tank is now 30. Think about your own body between 25 and 30, and it's not the same. Your shoulders are wider, your back is bigger, your fucking head is bigger. You are bigger from 25 to 30. You are bigger. So at 30 years old, he's making the same weight that he was making at 25. And I told people, yo, Tank is not going to be able to stay at 135 anymore. Because if he does, he's going to end up losing. Not because the guy was better, but because he struggled to make weight and he didn't get to the fight at 100%. Slight counter facts. Roy Jones suffered bad after coming down from heavyweight to fight Tarver at 175. Roy looked so skinny at the fight. He wasn't the same. He didn't look the same. Queeb, thank you for explaining it to me. I was going to mention weight bullying, but I got an expert to educate me. I'm telling you, the weight bully stuff, when you really analyze it, you're not no weight bully because you're struggling to get there. It's, cutting weight, my peoples, is one of the hardest things that fighters have to do. Fight after fight after fight. And I've had to cut weight. I know what that's about. I know what it is. You 3 days before your fight and you still got a few pounds that you got to cut. But you got to train, right? You got to work on your training. But guess what? Punching the bag and shadowing and all of that is not going to cut weight as fast as you need to cut it. So you got to run. You got to get in that sauna. You got to do all this other shit. You got to starve yourself to cut that weight. Can you be strong by fight night? Sometimes. My people, but we seen people fainting at the weigh-in. There's a dude who passed out the other day. Y'all remember the dude who passed out recently? In between rounds, just fainted. Boom. You see? So cutting weight is no joke. And that's why I said Tank Davis, he's not going to keep making 135. Now watch this. You see how we mentioned the weight bullying? Go look at Tank's walk-around weight. Tank be walking around in the 160s, bro, even 170s. I seen somebody saying that, somebody that's been in his circle say that Tank has gone up to 180. 180. From 180 all the way down to 135. You think it's easy for you to cut 40 pounds, 47 pounds to fight somebody? Hell no. But nobody said Tank Davis a weight bully. Oh no, he's little. Bullshit. If he was little, he wouldn't be walking around at 160, 168, 170. He's short. He's not little. Look at Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez not a big dude. He fight at 168. Why? Because he got a big frame. He got the frame to fight at 168. Tank Davis got the frame that he could easily be fighting 140, 147 right now. He got that frame. But he was staying at 135 for all those years. And nobody called him a weight bully. But again, the weight bully term, people only use it when they like it. Then they just, I don't know, that's good. B. Wayne, what Conor Benn did to Eubank Jr. in the rematch was nasty work. Eubank was in the hospital. His dad warned him also. So I'm going to tell you like this. I predicted that Conor Benn was going to win that second fight. I'm like, Conor Benn is going to win it. And you know why I felt that way? Because they went to war in that first fight. Chris Eubank won. Fair and square. But he ate the harder punches throughout that fight. He got hit with the bigger shots. So he won, but he took some nasty punishment. Landed in the hospital for what, 5 days or something like that? So after taking that type of damage in the first fight, I felt like in the second fight, he's not going to have that same heart. He's not going to be willing to take that damage again for another 12 rounds, which that shit would have probably left him punch drunk. So he wasn't going into that second fight ready to go to war like he did the first time around. The first time around, he felt like, yo, this guy's smaller than me. I'm going to have my way with him. But the second time around, he went in like, yo, I got to avoid taking that type of damage again. I can't get beat up like that again. And I had Conor Ben winning that rematch because of that. Trail Bruce. That's exactly why Devin didn't want to see Shakur at 35. Because he knew he was playing with the fire on that scale. He didn't want to, he definitely didn't want to fight Shakur at 135. And that was one of the most slickest duck moves that I ever seen. Because he ducked, but he made an offer, so that gave leeway to his fans and Shakur haters to say, no, it's Shakur that should have took the offer. Shakur should have took it. Think about it, bro. I've been following boxing for over 30 years. I know you guys been following boxing for a long time. When have you ever seen fans say that a fighter should have took an offer? They should have took the offer, but Shakur should have took it. They made a whole new logic to make Shakur the duck, when in reality it was Devin Haney. Side, did Usyk sign to Zuffa? No, I seen a fake post. Somebody saying that he went to Zuffa. As of right now, there is nothing official suggesting that he did. So for now, I gotta say no. Usyk is saying that he got something big coming up. He got something big coming up. We don't know what it is. We should find out soon, though. Side, I need to see Caballero get his shot. I agree with you 100%. Caballero's the mandatory. Caballero should have been Usyk's next opponent. But apparently, Usyk petitioned Mauricio the Goofball Sulaiman for a voluntary defense, and it was granted. So he gets to pick his next opponent. Pasta track. Devin didn't want no part of Shakur. He didn't want nothing to do with Shakur. And Bill didn't want nothing to do with Shakur. You don't remember when somebody recorded him, secretly recorded him saying that they didn't want that smoke? Side, Teo saying he took a dive. He a clown. Yo, Teofimo, that's why, man, it's like he just got to shut up. Teofimo, somebody just got to take his phone. Just take his phone, block him from all social media platforms, and not even let him post. Because he just be saying some goofy shit all the time. He does it too much. He's an unlikable person because he says dumb shit all the time. Like, how you get dominated, made to look easy, you handled it, you handled it like a champ. You gave Shakur his credit. You said the better man won. And then days later, you put it out on social media that you made it look how you needed to make it look, that it was all by design. Like, trying to suggest that the fight was scripted. You're a clown for doing that. Like, take your L. Like everybody knows you got your ass beat. And for you to say that you made it look how you needed it to look, it's embarrassing. Like, I feel embarrassed for him. Because are you trying to say you needed it to look like you got your ass kicked? You needed it to look like Shakur made you look like a bum? You needed it to look like your father was a drunk goofball in the corner, not even knowing how to give instructions? That's how you needed to make it look? So it's like, bro, sometimes you just need to shut up. It's like Teofimo goes through personal stuff and he starts saying dumb shit on social media. And you know that there's the Shakur haters that are going to cling on to that. I already see some people posting on social media that this fight was fixed. I knew it. Look, Teofimo confirmed it. Like, man, just shut the hell up. Just shut up. JJ said that nobody wants the boogeyman. Shakur is that dude. Wait, but if he did go to Zoo for boxing, can they just have Wilder do a fight there? Of course. They could do a one-fight deal, just like they doing with Conor Ben. One-fight deal, Usyk versus Wilder, but Wilder already has an opponent lined up. Remember, he's going to be fighting Chisora. Wilder versus Chisora is next, and I'm pretty sure Usyk is not... The fuck? I got trees in my hand. I'm pretty sure Usyk is not just going to stick around and wait for Wilder to fight and wait for him to be, ready for another fight. Cass, yup, clearly surround himself with nothing but yes man, and that's a problem. That's a problem. If you surround yourself with nothing but yes man, you're looking not just for failure, but you're also looking for one of them or a few of them to eventually rob you, steal from you, do all type of shit. Because that's not really your peoples. That's not really your peoples. They just trying to be part of the circle. And those be the ones that get you. And I got to tell you, my peoples, you don't have to worry about the hate. You know why you don't have to worry about the hate? Because the hate is all the way over there. It's over there somewhere. They can't touch you. They can't do nothing with you but hate. But you got to worry about the envy. Envy is close by. Envy is right around you. Envy is the people that you think is your friends, the people that you think is cool with you. It be your own family. It be that yes man circle that suffer from that envy. And people who envy you will take action to try to take shit from you. So you don't got to worry about the hate, but worry about the envy for sure. For sure, my peoples. Truck Bruce, driving in shallow waters. K-Biz, now he using Shakur for clout, talking about he will go to 144. He couldn't even make 140 for Devin. Garcia has no choice but to fight Conor Ben or he gets tripped, using Shakur name for clout. So you got to remember, bro, it's not that he could have made 140 for Devin. He chose not to make weight. He did that on purpose. Remember, he even said that Floyd told him to go in 3 pounds over. So you got to remember, he was trying to cheat. He was trying, number one, not to make weight, to be there stronger. And number two, he tested positive. So it's not that he could have made 140. That's number one. Number two, Conor Ben is actually got a fight lined up on the Zuffa Boxing next. So he's definitely not going to get stripped. Definitely. Conor Ben already talking. I'm pretty sure he's going to end up being with Rollies. He's trying to get that fight with Rollies. And let me tell you another thing that you didn't consider, K-Biz. Bro, it's the WBC. You really believe that the WBC, Mauricio the goofball Sulaiman, is going to strip Ryan Garcia? One of the biggest stars in boxing. One of the guys that's going to give him the biggest sanctioning fees. A guy with a Mexican background, Mexican parents. You think about that. Mexican background, Mexican parents, big star, going to give big money for sanctioning fees. You believe Mauricio going to strip Ryan? Did you ever see Mauricio strip Canelo Alvarez when Canelo had Benavidez as the mandatory for over a year? Over a year, bro. Did Canelo get stripped? Mauricio not stripping Ryan, bro. There's zero possibility that he stripped Ryan Garcia. I can pretty much guarantee you. If we could go on the website and place bets on whether or not Mauricio going to strip Ryan Garcia, man, I tell everybody, bet the house on this one. Bet your house. Mauricio not stripping him, bro. Of course not. Not happening. Besides, Superman said he already ready to go to 140. J Jack, no podcast, no interviews. Tio got to hang it up. Legacy dissolved. Journeyman, that catch lightning twice. Listen, Teofimo Lopez, he's one of the great fighters of this generation. One of the best of the young fighters coming up. But he keeps damaging his own image with his mouth. And he keeps making himself more unlikable. People don't like him because of how he behaves. The shit that he be saying, you are cornball. And the thing about people who are cornballs is that they don't know they are cornball. They don't know that. They think what they doing is cool. And they think what they doing, people gonna like that vibe and shit. And meanwhile, they being a cornball the whole time. John Parent, he knew they would still take the fight. Trail Bruce. Mauricio been giving Ryan all type of chances to become champion. Plus, Ryan and Oscar been kissing ass. They not stripping them. Come on, man. You see how Ryan Garcia been talking about the WBC and Mauricio Sulaiman. Even went at Terrence Crawford and called him a coward for doing what he did. So he's even fighting Mauricio's fights for him on social media. So there's zero chance that they're gonna strip him. Zero. Unless they will give Ryan a French fries belt before they strip him. Of course, listen, before stripping him, they'll remake the franchise belt. Y'all remember the franchise belt? They'll give him another one. If you got a mandatory, he don't want to fight the mandatory. Yo, we got a franchise belt for you. Here, hold this. Jason Dejas. Everyone wants to fight for the WBC belt. They want that necklace. I told y'all, man. The necklace is a sign that Mauricio and the WBC are scared of what's happening, are scared of Zuffa boxing, and they just said, yo, we need something to make our belt more interesting. We got a pendant. We got a bling bling for y'all. Goofball. Positron, Ryan is perfect publicity for the green belt. Come on. Ryan is one of the biggest stars in boxing right now. And now he's a world champion and a WBC champion. Mauricio Sulaiman couldn't be any happier. He couldn't be happier that Ryan Garcia now has that belt. Shakur Hands, he's stupid. And he would never beat Court. John Parham, if anyone new here, like and subscribe for sure. Salute, my brother. Appreciate it. Shakur Hands, he def a cornball. Yo, Shakur Stevenson is a cornball. I mean, Teofimo Lopez, he a cornball. You know what's funny? My haters will clip that part, click, and send it to Shakur with me saying that he a cornball by mistake and shit. Like, look what this motherfucker saying about you. But Teo's a cornball, bro. For real. And people who are like that, they can't see themselves. They don't understand that they cornballs. They think it's cool, the shit that they be doing and saying. Quick, if you had to give him advice as a coach, what would you tell him to repair his public image? If I'm giving up, and I tell you what, I could be an advisor for a lot of fighters. I could actually do that and do a great job at it. I could do public relations for these guys. But if I was, working with Teofimo Lopez, there's certain things I would do. Number one, I would remove him from all social media platforms for 30 days. 30 days off of social media platforms. During those 30 days, I'm going to give him a personalized training. What is that personalized training going to involve? Communication skills, empathy, and different expressions that you should use. And within those 30 days, I will teach him about racism and why you don't play with that. Why there's nothing funny about that. Why you're going to rub people the wrong way when you play that racist shit. So one of the things that I'm going to remove from Teofimo's vocabulary is any of the racist shit that he's ever said. I'm going to say, yo, Teo, look, I'm working with you. I'm going to work with you. But if you ever say some racist shit after I start working with you, that'll be the last day we work together. You will never say some racist shit ever again. That's the number one thing that I would put out there for him. That's it. The racist version of Teo that's trying to get clout, we're going to disappear that. Because you're going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. You lost a lot of fans because of that. Then after the racist part, we're going to start working on your communication skills and you being more straightforward. What do I mean by being straightforward? Bro, you got your ass beat by Shakur Stevenson. You took it like a man. Why would you then jump on social media and say, oh, it was by design. I made it look how I wanted to look. I would show him, explain to him why you are a cornball. So first I'm going to break down for him, you're a cornball, and we need to fix that so you can stop being a cornball, because we don't need cornballs on social media. People are going to keep disliking your ass. So I spent 30 days on some on some real communication skill stuff, on some real understanding of the consequences of your words. And then after that 30 days that he's been out of social media, now you're going back into social media, and I'm going to be monitoring everything that you post. I'm going to be monitoring everything that you say on camera. And let's see. I think I will be able to get him to change. And then from there, I'm also going to get him to do some positive things to get people to start liking him. I'm going to get him to, for example, give boxing classes to kids, give to the community, do this, do that, do positive things to make, to clean up that image. And I'm telling you, I will work with Teofimo Lopez for 2 months and he'll be a whole different person than the cornball we see today. You got to work, but it's a process. For you to change somebody, their mindset into handling things differently, it's a process. You don't do that from one day to the next. Hey, it's Chase. Why move down, though? Are you referring to Ryan Garcia moving down to 140 for, he want to take his title. He's like, I'll move down to 140 and take your belt. Like, that's literally what he said. That's literally what he said. Look, forget a catchweight shit. Let's do it for real. I want to take your belt and snatch it right off of you. So according to Ryan Garcia, he's trying to fight Shakur at 140 and take that title from him. And remember, because somebody said earlier that Ryan can't make 140. Not true. He weighed 143 for Devin Haney, and that was done on purpose. Ryan himself told us, Floyd told me to go up 3 pounds overweight. And that's what I did. Because they knew that would give him a physical advantage over Devin, who did make weight. And it showed. Plus, he tested positive. So the fact that he showed up 3 pounds overweight to fight Devin Haney, that does not mean that he cannot make 140. It's already been established that he showed up overweight on purpose. Let's see now what's going to happen. But the way that Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson are going back and forth, it looks like we're going to get this fight, my peoples. I got a feeling we are going to get this fight next. And I said it, that I'd love to see it. K-Biz, Turkey is back in Zuffa and the ring. Of course, the ring damn near belonged to Turkey. He's the majority owner of the Ring magazine and Zuffa Boxing, of course. That's why Zuffa Boxing, with all the money that they got, they signing fighters, and they're going to keep signing more fighters. You already see Conor Benn signed with Zuffa Boxing, Jairo Pataya, Edwin De Los Santos, Rayo Valenzuela, and there's other young fighters. They already got a big roster over there. They posted the list of fighters who signed with them. There's also going to be those who will become famous on Zuffa Boxing. People we never heard of. Gabriel Pebenito, I never heard of him. He got the devastating knockout the other day. I'm a fan of his already because of what he was able to accomplish. Side, if he comes in overweight for the Shakur fight, should Shakur pull out? Yes. Yes. But it doesn't make sense for him to show up overweight. You know why? Because he knows if he shows up overweight, he won't be fighting for the title. That's why when he beat the crap out of Devin Haney and got his arm raised, he didn't get the title. He didn't get the belt. That's the thing. In a title fight, if you show up overweight as the challenger, you can't win the title. If the fight goes through, you can't win the title. So him saying he want to take that title from Shakur suggests that he has to make weight and that he's planning on it. But I agree. If he shows up 3-4 pounds overweight, Shakur should pull out. Like, nah, he a clown. We not fighting like that. Queen, but is there a specific reason why he's acting this way? Is it to protect himself as some sort of tough guy trying to reject the loss that he took to add something that he allowed to happen? I think Teofimo, like I told you before, the first thing is Teofimo's a cornball. That's the reality. Teofimo's a cornball. And the thing about cornballs is that they always want to be the guy on top, even when they not. So the way that he put himself on top is by trying to suggest that he wanted it to be like that. He allowed it to be like that. It's like he can't even accept it. He can't fully accept, yeah, he beat my ass, he's better than me. He can't. He can't accept it. K-Biz, Garcia and Ben will 100% go to purse bid. And who you think gonna win against Turkey? Look, it's hard for me to even consider Ryan Garcia versus Conor Ben, because I know Conor Ben is most likely gonna fight Rollies next on Zuffa Boxing. Ryan Garcia is with Golden Boy. So how does that fight even get made? We still haven't seen Zuffa Boxing putting on fights with other promotional companies, which they already said they were going to. Because they said they're going to allow Jayo Pataya to try to pursue Undisputed. He would have to fight fighters from other promotional companies. But with Golden Boy having the contract for Ryan Garcia, and now they're in federal court to see if Matchroom can take no, that's for Virgil Ortiz. Ryan Garcia is locked in with Golden Boy family. He locked in. So is Golden Boy gonna do business with Zuffa Boxing so they could fight Conor Ben? Or is Conor Ben gonna sign a contract with Golden Boy? Because remember, he only got a one-fight deal with Zuffa Boxing. Then you also have to consider, what is Eddie Hearn gonna do when that contract is over for Conor Ben? Is he gonna be willing to re-sign him after Conor Ben shitted on him? I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know. So I'm gonna tell you guys like this. Conor Ben is really risking it with that contract that he signed with Zuffa Boxing. Because you have to think about, okay, he's getting $15 million for one fight. Cool story. But what if he get his ass kicked? What if he get beat up badly and get knocked out? Zuffa's gonna say, God damn, we'll never give you that much money for a fight again. That's a one-shot deal, buddy. You got knocked out, beat up, you cooked. So now Conor Ben is gonna find himself in a situation where he might try to go back to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn be like, what? After you showed me that you ain't loyal after what you did, nah, go somewhere else. So if Conor Ben get his ass beat on Zuffa Boxing, he's cooked. He got to win that fight, and he got to look good doing it. Now, if he does look good doing it, what's next? It's only one fight deal. How does he make the fight with Ryan Garcia happen if Ryan is locked in with Golden Boy? Are you going to sign with Golden Boy? Matchroom is probably not going to mess with you after what you did. So right now, I don't know how they make that fight happen with Conor Ben and Ryan Garcia. I honestly don't know how they make that. Pass the track. Jay, do you think boxing should be set up like the UFC, but obviously pay the fighters better? There's too many things about the UFC that I don't like. Too many things that I don't like about the UFC. I think the matchmaking is good. I think matchmaking in boxing should not involve the sanctioning bodies. It shouldn't be, I'm fighting for that WBC belt. I'm only gonna fight WBC guys. And so the problem I think with boxing is that we have all these promotional companies, we have all these sanctioning bodies, and that makes it difficult sometimes for us to get some of the fights that we want. I think boxing should be more universal to where it doesn't matter what promotional company you're in. If we want to fight, we fight. I think fighters should be more on the driver's seat. Fighters should dictate their destiny, dictate who they want to fight. Because we've seen fighters want to fight each other, but the promotional companies can't come to an agreement, so they're not gonna fight. We missed out on a lot of fights like that. So I think, look, here's one thing that would fix it, or that would make it better. Fighters should start signing, all fighters, 2-fight deals. 1 and 2-fight deals, and that's it. No long-term contracts. You know why? Because if I just got a 2-fight deal or a 1-fight deal and I want to fight you, then me and you can agree, yo, once we're done with this deal, we're going to fight each other. We're going to fight each other. And you got a 5-year contract with a different promotional company. This whole time might run out. We never get that fight simply because your promoter and my promoter, they not getting along. So it's got to the point where like, damn, the promoters are supposed to work for the fighters. I'm the shit over here. I'm the company. I'm the enterprise. And you, the promoter, work for me to promote my fights. That's the point of it. But it's like the fighters are the employees and the promoter are the boss. So the fighters fight who the promoters say. That's the problem. Fighters should fight who they want to fight. Not just the big stars. Because if you're a big star in boxing, you fight whoever you want to fight. But most fighters don't have a say. You kind of just have to sit there and wait till your promoter decide who you're going to fight. I think that's part of the reason why we don't get a lot of fights. We could have probably got Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence like a year or two before we got that fight. But Errol Spence being on PBC, Crawford being on Top Rank, that fight couldn't get made. J. Jack, Haney may have to fight Teo for Goofy King to stay afloat, to be relevant in the box game. So at least Devin Haney is accomplishing. You know, he coming off of one of the biggest wins of his career. And in reality, the only goofy shit that Devin Haney been involved in was that lawsuit. If you take away the lawsuit and the way he handled the situation with Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney's been about that smoke, been about that life, and just been with it. You got to have nothing but respect for Devin Haney. That was the only little hiccup. Jason and Jay Smith, I hope we get more good fights this year. Too much boxing politics involved. I agree with you, bro. I agree. But things are shaping up the way we wanted to. Earlier, we already got Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. That was an important fight, and I believe we got a lot more on the way. Pasta track, 2-fight contracts would be hard for promotional to digest because if they win, then they'll want to sign them for long-term deal. Maybe a limit to how many fights a contract within a certain period. But that's the point, you know, if you lock in with a promotional company for 4 or 5 years, there ain't shit you could do. You can have another great fighter locked in also for 4 or 5 years with another promotional company, and if they not seeing eye to eye, that's it. You're not getting that fight. You're not fighting that person. Shakur hands, Def Goofy for the carnival. Nonsense. Don't let that slide. The carnival nonsense, I don't remember. Are you talking about the fan that he punched and didn't even hurt him? That shit was funny. Quig, what do you like about the UFC exactly? And are your dislikes of the UFC give pause to Alzufa maybe run? So there's some things that crossed over to Zufa from UFC that I didn't like. So the first thing I don't like about the UFC is the uniforms. Number one. Number two, they're not allowed to promote anything on their gear or on their body or anywhere. Only UFC. So you can't make extra money. So you're not making money like that. UFC fighters don't make money like that. They can't even make extra money. They can't even go, you know, I seen fighters, it be the local supermarket paying them 5-10 grand to put their logo in the shorts. And it's like, yeah, you making money and you promoting somebody or, you know, who needs that promotion. Well, UFC, you don't get to promote. You don't get to wear whatever you want. They tell you what to wear. And you also, the money, the way that they, you know, work with the money. You know, most fighters struggling out there. Look, somebody once said UFC is ran like a plantation. And that always stuck with me. When they said it didn't make sense, I was like, damn, this motherfucker's exaggerating. But then when I start seeing the frame of how everything is done, it's like on UFC, you can only get so far, but we're gonna control. Look at Conor Ben. Once his star power got to a certain place, they started kind of controlling. Like, oh, we don't want you to get too big for yourself, buddy. Hold on. Look at all the biggest names in the UFC. It's like you get to a point where eventually, like, nah, hold on, man. You're getting too big. We're gonna have to bring you back down. We're gonna have to slow you down. And now I see Zoo for boxing, and it's like, damn, there's some plantation shit going on over here. You gotta wear what they tell you to wear. You gotta wear their brand all over. They're branding your shorts. They're branding your gloves. They're branding it in your robe that you're walking into. Your whole team, the brand too. So it's like this is just certain things that rub me the wrong way. I don't like it. I don't like the way that they do it. Shakur has the uniforms is trash, and you know that I complained about that from the first card. First time I realized they was gonna have them uniform, I'm like, damn. Side, that baby mama drama. Oh, with Devin Haney. No, I think that was just some goofball shit. The baby mama drama, I think that was goofball shit. You know why? Because Devin Haney was young. Shorty was like a social media, one of them the social media models, the IG models or some shit like that. And I think Bill probably talked to him like, son, she's here for the money, son. Come on now. No, she loved me. Devin was like, probably, no, she loved me. And Bill was like, okay, I'm going to have to let you learn. Because Bill a street nigga. I'm going to have to let you learn. That's what you want. Go ahead, do you. And that's it. He learned. Devin Haney's young, got with that shorty when she was young, gave her a baby, and now he had to deal with what comes with that. Pasta track. UFC don't pay their fighters shit. Yeah, when fighters lose those endorsements, that was a big hit to their pockets. Hey, who looks like the UFC supports? J. Jack, J. Smith, no judgment for the lawfare. That's biz. His wife visiting an inmate. That's by professing her love. You got no prenup. Goofy. Yeah, that was goofy. Not having a prenup is goofy, for sure. But, I don't think that's something in his personal life, having a weakness for a girl that used him, that I'm not going to use that against him as far as his boxing career. It's not the same with Teofimo standing in front of a camera and calling people monkeys and talking about watermelon and banana and all. That's different. That affects your professional career. That affects your image, how you're seen. Devin Haney, what he went through, a lot of people been a sucker for love. That's what he was, a sucker for love. He was the one that if we was in junior high school, he would have been Captain Saberho. B. Wayne, I like MMA. I just don't care for the UFC much. Shakur Hands, she was Young Thug X. I mean, like I told you, Devin Haney, a sucker for love. He the guy that, when we was in junior high school and we all ran the train on Shorty, and then the last one in the train was like, yo, nah, man, y'all gotta leave her alone. She got feelings for me. Like, what the fuck? Okay, do you, family? Shit be that way sometimes. My peoples, I'm about to end this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm about to get the hell out of here, but before I do, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. Pasta Track, C Graph, Shakur Hands, B Wayne, JJ's in their house, J Jack, Queeb, John Parent was in the building. Salute to everybody who tuned in, man. Hey, it's Chase. Salute, family. My peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. We got to go get this money. Friday, tomorrow, another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm bringing the heat like I do every morning. Salute to everybody. And my words of the day for you. I'm not going to leave you with the words of the day, because sometimes I just get out of here quick and people always end up telling me, yo, Jay, the word of the day, man, we missed it. Let me give you the word of the day, and it's going to be something that I spoke about earlier. My peoples, hate is something that you don't have to worry about, because hate is coming from somebody over social media, from somebody that's over there somewhere, somebody that's all the way over there. You don't got to worry about the hate. I got a lot of haters. You got a lot of haters too. But you got to worry about the envy. Because hate is all the way over there. But envy is right here. Envy is people that's close to you. Envy, it be family members. It be people that you think is your friends. It be people that you think is your co-workers. It be people that you think that's cool with you. Those are the ones that suffer from envy. And those are the ones that will do you dirty. Hate? Yo, man, listen, if you already posted on social media that I don't know shit about boxing, I don't got to worry about you. Because the people who know me, they know what's good. I gotta worry about the people that could be around me talking about, yo, Jay, you the best, B. Yo, Jay, you the shit. You gonna make it to the top. I gotta worry about those motherfuckers. Because there be somebody within that circle that got that envy. That want what I got. That want to do what I do. That want to be in my situation. That is praying for me to trip and fall. So remember that, my peoples. Don't worry about those who's hating on you from all the way over there. Worry about the jealous and envious ones that's right around you. That's my word of the day, my people. Salute to everybody once again who tuned in this morning. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's get this money on this beautiful Thursday. Thank you, God, for giving us another day, man. We out of here. Ooh, West does it. I'm late, but I got here. Wait a minute. Y'all know I was about to finish the show right now. I was saying goodbye. But before I finish saying goodbye, I got to say salute to my brother West Dusset, who showed up in the last minute. But West Dusset always showing love, always supporting Jay Smith. I appreciate you, West Dusset. No doubt, my brother. And everybody else who tuned in this morning. Ronaldo, my peoples, I'm out of here. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. This is Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bam. We out of here.